EMS question, Part 4. 3-day-old newborn who is diagnosed with Hirschsprung's disease presents with failure to pass meconium within 24 to 48 hours of life. What is the diagnostic test for Hirschsprung's disease? A. Chest X-ray. B. Ultrasound. C. MRI. D. Rectal biopsy. The answer is D. Rectal biopsy. Doctors typically use rectal biopsies to confirm or rule out a diagnosis of Hirschsprung's disease. During a rectal biopsy procedure, a doctor will take small pieces of tissue from the rectum. A pathologist will examine the tissue under a microscope to look for signs of Hirschsprung's disease. What is the normal lung sound over the sternum? A. Bronchial. B. Vesicular. C. Bronchovesicular. The answer is A. Bronchial. In a normal air-filled lung, bronchial sounds are heard over the body of the sternum, and tracheal sounds are heard over the trachea. Vesicular sounds are heard over most of the lung fields. Bronchovesicular sounds are heard between the first and second interspaces on the anterior chest. Which of the following related to harsh breath sounds? A. Crackles. B. Bronchial. C. Wheezing. D. Stridor. The answer is D. Stridor. Stridor is a harsh vibratory sound that occurs due to the narrowing of the upper airway, heard most prominently when inhaling. Crackles is a high-pitched breath sounds that are similar to popping or snapping. Wheezing is a high-pitched whistling sound that occurs due to the narrowing of the bronchial tubes. Which of the following related to low-pitched breath sound? A. Crackles. B. Rhonchi. C. Wheezing. D. Vesicular. The answer is B. Rhonchi. The rhonchi, or a plural of the word rhonchos, are continuous, low-pitched sounds that are best heard when you're breathing out, also called expiration. The sound might move around to different parts of your chest when you cough, moving mucus around. These sounds are caused by movement of fluid and secretions in large airways. Example, in asthma, viral upper respiratory infections, rhonchi, unlike other sounds, may clear when coughing. Which of the following related to high-pitched breath sound? A. Crackles. B. Rhonchi. C. Wheezing. D. Bronchial. The answer is C. Wheezing. What is the diet for a patient with pyelonephritis? A. Increased fluid intake. B. Increased dietary fiber. C. Low protein in dinner. The answer is A. Increased fluid intake. Clients with gestational diabetes are usually managed by which of the following therapies? A. Oral hypoglycemia drugs and insulin. B. NPH insulin. C. Diet. The answer is C. Diet. Some women with gestational diabetes can keep their sugar levels in the safe range by any necessary changes to their diet and keeping active. Gestational diabetes is high blood sugar or glucose that starts during pregnancy. Eating a balanced or healthy diet can help you manage gestational diabetes. Which of the following statement by the nurse describes the effect of Clomid as an ovulation-inducing drug? A. Given for the first 15 days in each cycle. B. Maximum dose of 50 mg daily for a month. C. It increases the risk of birth defect. D. It increases the risk of multiple pregnancies. The answer is D. It increases the risk of multiple pregnancies. Multiple pregnancy is more common in women who use fertility medication to induce ovulation. Clomid works by increasing the production of two vital hormones, the LH and FSH. These hormones work to stimulate ovulation and may result in more than one egg being released, which can cause a multiple pregnancy. The chances of conceiving twins on clomid as clomiphene citrate is estimated to be about 6% to 11.7%. A nurse manager assigns tasks according to clinical competencies of the nurses. Which of the following is the management function? A. Delegating, B. Evaluating, C. Planning, D. Controlling. The answer is A. Delegating. The girl patient presented with diarrhea, vomiting, decreased tear production in the eyes, clammy skin, and a sodium level below 130. What level of dehydration is she experiencing? A. Mild isotonic, B. Moderate isotonic, C. Moderate hypotonic, D. Moderate hypertonic. The answer is C. Moderate hypotonic. Hypotonic dehydration is hyponatremia. Hyponatremia is what happens when you have a too little sodium in your body. This can happen if you lose electrolytes and fluids together but only replace the lost fluid. It may happen if you drink only water and don't take in other nutrients after losing a lot of fluids from sweating, diarrhea, and vomiting. While hypertonic dehydration is hypernatremia. Hypertonic dehydration happens when you lose water from your body but don't lose unequal quantities of electrolytes, specifically sodium. You will have too high sodium concentration in your blood and other bodily fluids. Typically, this causes you feel thirsty so that you want to drink water to replace the fluid you lost. Losing mainly fluid is known as hypertonic dehydration or hypernatremia. Losing mainly sodium is known as hypotonic dehydration or hyponatremia. Where to measure pulse for patient having tremor in all extremities? A. Apical, B. Brachial, C. Radial, D. Popliteal. The answer is A. Apical. The head nurse encourages nurses to reflect on themselves, their strengths, and their weaknesses. What should be considered? A. Self-concept, B. Self-awareness, C. Self-understanding. The answer is A. Self-concept. Nurse self-concepts refers to the information and belief that nurses have regarding their roles, values, and behavior. In other words, it is nurses' internalized values and belief, strength, and the manner in which they affect their thoughts and behavior. A patient has a dissection aortic aneurysm. The patient's surgery would be categorized as A. Elective, B. Urgent, C. Emergency. The answer is C. Emergency. If you have an aortic dissection or tear in your aortic root or ascending aorta, you'll need emergency surgery. Aortic dissection aneurysm is a medical emergency. Early diagnosis and treatment are important. Over time, the tear can affect your brain, lungs, arms, legs, and heart. Eventually, if not treated, the aneurysm can pop open or rupture and spill blood into your abdominal cavity or into the wall of the aorta. That's why, if an aneurysm ruptures, it is considered a true medical emergency. An 11-year-old child has been diagnosed with diabetes insipidus. Which part of the brain is affected? A. Posterior pituitary, B. Adrenal medulla, C. Anterior pituitary, D. Adrenal cortex. The answer is A. Posterior and pituitary. Diabetes insipidus is an endocrine condition involving the posterior pituitary peptide hormone, antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone exerts its effect on the distal convoluted tubule and collecting ducts of the nephron by upregulating aquaporin 2 channels on the cellular apical membrane surface. Diabetes insipidus happens when the body cannot balance its fluid levels in a healthy way. Fluid in the blood is filtered through the kidneys to remove waste. Afterwards, most of the fluid is returned to the bloodstream. The waste and a small amount of fluid leave the kidneys as urine. Patient will start total parenteral parenteral nutrition or TPN, and should started gradually to avoid which of the following? A. Hyperinsulinemia. B. Hyperinsulinemia. C. Hypoglycemia. D. Hyperglycemia. The answer is D. Hyperglycemia. TPN solution usually contain higher amounts of glucose or dextrose than what the body typically encounters. This excess glucose surpasses the body's capacity to regulate blood glucose levels. Generally, blood glucose levels above 180 mg per deciliter are considered to be hyperglycemic in the context of TPN. In patients receiving parenteral nutrition, glucose enters the peripheral circulation, reaching high serum levels and producing sustained hyperglycemia and hyperinsulinemia. To prevent severe electrolytes and other metabolic abnormalities, the infusion rate of TPN is increased gradually, starting at a rate of no more than 50% of the energy requirements. The nurse is assessing a child or an infant with pyloric stenosis. Which of the following is likely to be noted? A. Diarrhea. B. Projective vomiting. C. Current jelly-like stool. The answer is B. Projective vomiting. The most common symptoms noted in baby with pyloric stenosis is forceful projectile vomiting. This kind of vomiting is different from a wet burp that a baby may have at the end of feeding. Large amounts of breast milk or formula are vomited and may go several feet across a room. Babies with pyloric stenosis usually have progressive worsening vomiting during their first week of months of life. The vomiting is often described as a non-bilious and projectile vomiting because it is more forceful than the usual spits-ups commonly seen at this age. A psychiatric patient came to ER. The patient used razor marks on his hand with letters of the word, "I don't want to serve ever at this life." The patient wrote on his arm, "Bye" tattoo. What is the most appropriate diagnosis? A. Borderline personality disorder. B. Dissociative disease. C. Major manic episodes. The answer is A. Borderline personality disorder. The symptoms of borderline personality disorders are an unstable relationship, unclear or shifting self-image, impulsive or self-destructive behavior, self-harm, extreme emotional swings, chronic feelings of emptiness, and explosive anger. While dissociative disorder are mental health conditions that involving experiencing a loss of connection between thoughts, memories, feelings, surroundings, behavior, and identity. These conditions include escape from reality in ways that are not wanted and not healthy. This causes problems in managing everyday life. While major manic episodes are having an abnormal high level of activity or energy, feeling extremely happy or excited, even euphoric, not sleeping or only getting a few hours of sleep but still feeling rested, having inflated self-esteem, thinking that you are invisible. Personality disorders. Cluster A, paranoid, suspicious, hypersensitive, and secretive. Second, schizoid, seclusive, indifferent, passive. Third, schizotypal, odd in thinking, with bizarre fantasy, with peculiar language. Cluster B. 1. Histrionic, attention seeker, flamboyant, provocative. Second, narcissistic, excessive self-admiration, egocentric, self-of-grandiose. Borderline, impulsive, self-mutilative, manipulative. Antisocial, rule breaker, aggressive, and abusive. Cluster C. Avoidant, fear, criticism, overly serious, withdrawn. Dependent, clingy, indecisive, submissive. Obsessive compulsive, perfectionist, passive aggressive, and rigid. A postpartum woman came to the clinic with her baby. The nurse assessed the umbilical cord. What are the signs of cord infection? A. Reddened base. B. Bluish white. C. Black and dry. D. Dry. The answer is A. Reddened base. The symptoms of umbilical cord infection are red or discolored skin around your baby's umbilical stump, skin that feels thick or hard around the stump, fluid or discharge that leaks from the stump. It may look yellowish in color and or smelly or bad. Tenderness to touch. The charge nurse hears a nurse speaking to patients with disrespect. Which of the following is the best action for the charge nurse? A. Tell nurse to be kind. B. Apologize to the patient. C. Take over the care. D. Speak privately to the nurse. The answer is D. Speak privately with the nurse. The 19-year-old woman needs an urgent cesarean section. The informed consent should be taken from which person? A. Parents. B. Patient. C. Husband. D. Patient and husband. The answer is A. Patient. The patient admitted to hospital with diabetes. And the patient has foot ulcer. The nurse changed dressing every 12 hours. Which of the following is the important assessment? A. Neurologic pain. B. Wound healing and infection. C. Glucose level. The answer is B. Wound healing and infection. A 19-year-old girl diagnosed with diabetes mellitus, and she told the nurse she couldn't give herself injection. What is the nursing intervention? A. Refer to home care. B. Teach her how to inject herself. C. Instruct her to come to the hospital. The answer is B. Tell her how to inject herself. Pregnant woman with leg cramps. What should the nurse instruct her? A. Knee extended with dorsiflexion for foot. B. Change position frequently. The answer is A. Knee extended with dorsiflexion for foot. What is the 4 T's most common for hemorrhage? Which of the following most common of postpartum hemorrhage? A. Tone. B. Tissue. C. Thrombin. The answer is A. Tone. The causes of postpartum hemorrhage are called the 4 T's: tone, trauma, tissue, and thrombin. The most common causes of postpartum hemorrhage are uterine atony. Uterine atony or uterine tone refers to a soft and weak uterus after delivery. The mother is depressed and tells the nurse that her son is dead in swimming pool and she is responsible about that. What should the nurse do? A. You are right. B. Show sympathy. The answer is B. Show sympathy. The child has tracheoesophageal fistula. The physician has planned surgical repair. Which of the following preoperative interventions are appropriate for this? A. Put the patient in supine position. B. Give sedatives. C. Oral feeding. D. Antibiotic therapy. The answer is D. Antibiotic therapy. Prophylactic antibiotics should be used in children with repaired esophageal atresia and tracheoesophageal fistula. The patient has a strangulation hernia causing severe pain and requires hernia repair. What is an explanation of the procedure? A. A short procedure to pull in the hernia organ. B. To restore the blood supply to affected organ. The answer is B. To restore the blood supply to affected organ. A woman first time to do mammogram pap smear testing. Which of the following is the goal of the nursing practice here? A. Health promotion. B. Health protection. C. Health prevention. The answer is C. Health and prevention. How can in vitro fertilization happen? A. A woman's egg cells are combined with man sperm inside uterus and fertilized egg and implanted in the uterus. B. A woman's egg cells are combined with a man's sperm cells outside the uterus. The fertilized egg is then implanted in the woman's uterus. The answer is B. A woman's egg cells are combined with a man's sperm cells outside the uterus. The fertilized egg is then implanted to the woman's uterus. Which medication we can take from local pharmacy? A. NSAIDs. B. Contraceptives. C. Antibiotics. D. Antipsychotic. The answer is A. NSAIDs. What is mastitis? Mastitis is painful inflammation in your breast tissue that can lead to bacterial infection. This means your breast may be swollen, tender, or warm to touch. Your breast may become engorged, and you may also experience breast pain, hard lumps of the breast, and red marks on the breast, flu-like symptoms including fever and chills. The most common cause of mastitis is hyperlactation or an oversupply of milk. This oversupply of milk causes your milk ducts to narrow because the surrounding tissue puts pressure on the ducts. At-home treatment for inflammatory mastitis includes ice pack, pain relievers, reverse pressure softening, wear a supportive bra, and antibiotics if it is bacterial. Is it safe to continue breastfeeding when you have mastitis? Yes, you should continue to nurse your baby. You can't pass a breast infection to your baby through breast milk. In fact, breast milk has antibacterial properties that helps babies fight infections. Antibiotics that our providers prescribe for mastitis are usually safe for your baby. It may be uncomfortable to nurse when you have mastitis, but you should continue to do so. Question. Mastitis is an infection of the breast that occurs most often 2 to 4 days after childbirth. Which of the following is considered first-line treatment of mastitis? A. Drainage of breast abscess. B. Antibiotic therapy and cessation of breastfeeding. C. Antibiotic therapy and continue of breastfeeding. D. Advise mother to stop breastfeeding. The answer is C. Antibiotic therapy and continue breastfeeding. A 30-year-old primigravida postnatal mother came to the clinic and she complained of feeling shivering, redness, swelling, and pain on her right breast. The blood pressure is 90/62, heart rate is 84, respiratory rate is 25, and temperature is 38.8 degrees Celsius. Which of the most common organism that causes mastitis? A. Escherichia coli. B. Pseudomonas. C. Group B Streptococcus. D. Staphylococcus aureus. The answer is D. Staphylococcus aureus. A nurse is giving health education for a mother who has mastitis. Which of the following is stated by the mother about what she needs to do indicate that additional education is needed? A. I will take antibiotics. B. I'll use analgesics. C. Wear a supportive bra. D. Stop breastfeeding. The answer is D. Stop breastfeeding. Because having mastitis, we should continue breastfeeding. A primipara mother who has mastitis is asking the nurse about feeding. Which of the following would be the proper nursing response about mastitis? A. It will not affect the newborn. B. It will be deactivated by salivation. C. It will not be expressed in breast milk. D. It will be killed by immunoglobulins in breast milk. The answer is A. It will not affect the newborn. A nurse is providing instructions to a mother who has been diagnosed with mastitis. Which of the following statements, if made by the mother, indicates a need for further teaching? A. I need to take antibiotics and I should begin to feel better in 24 to 48 hours. B. I can use analgesics to assist in alleviating some of the discomfort. C. I need to wear a supportive bra to relieve the discomfort. D. I need to stop breastfeeding until this condition resolves. The answer is D. I need to stop breastfeeding until this condition resolves. Pregnant woman has convulsions associated with eclampsia. Which of the following drugs should give to her? A. Midazolam, B. Diazepam, C. Magnesium sulfate. The answer is B. Diazepam. For convulsions, give diazepam. For prevention of seizures, give magnesium sulfate. The patient has a care plan with goal for a healthy diet and weight loss. The nurse makes a follow-up and the patient have achieved goals. What should the nurse do? A. Continue care plan. B. Discontinue. The answer is A. Continue health care plan. For nephrotic syndrome, what is the urine color? A. Dark urine and fruity. B. Bright urine. The answer is A. Dark urine and fruity. For nephrotic, dark urine. For nephritis, bright urine. The patient with dyspnea and jugular vein distension with wheezing and restless. A. Pulmonary edema. B. Pulmonary embolism. C. COPD. The answer is pulmonary edema. What are the four main causes for high jugular vein distension? A. Heart failure, when the heart no longer pumps blood, as well as fluid overload, which leads to edema and swelling in the abdomen and lower limbs. Constricted pericarditis, cardiac tamponade, right-sided heart failure, pulmonary hypertension or pulmonary edema, tricuspid valve stenosis, and superior vena cava obstruction. Let's talk about electrolytes. For potassium, the normal range is 3.5 to 5.0 MEq per liter. What is the rule? For the heart, muscle function, fluid balance, and for BP. Sodium. The normal range of sodium is 135 to 145 MEq per liter. The role is for blood volume, BP, fluid balance. Magnesium. The normal range is 1.3 to 2.1 MEq per liter. What is the role? Muscle relaxation, immune system, blood glucose, and for the bones. Calcium. Calcium normal range is 8.5 to 10.5 MEq per liter. What is the role? Neuron stability, bones, heart rate, and clotting factors. Toddler is admitted to the pediatric room with several episodes of diarrhea for 3 days. The child is diagnosed with gastroenteritis. Which organism is responsible about the most diarrhea episodes in children? A. Rotavirus. B. Bacillus magisterium. C. Shigella. D. Staphylococcus. The answer is A. Rotavirus. Rotavirus is a viral infection that causes diarrhea and vomiting in babies and young children. It is very infectious and it is very common cause of gastroenteritis in children in Ireland under the age of 5 years. Although rotavirus infections are unpleasant, you can usually treat this infection at home with extra fluids to prevent dehydration. A baby born at 24 weeks of gestation with birth weight of 1 kilo, which of the following is the classification of this infant? A. Low birth weight. B. Very low birth weight. C. Appropriate for gestational age. D. Large for gestational age. The answer is D. Large for gestational age. Drug antidotes. Warfarin, vitamin K, heparin, antidotes protamine sulfate, digoxin, antidotes digiban, benzodiazepine, antidotes flumazenil, opioids, antidotes naloxone, magnesium sulfate, antidotes calcium gluconate, acetaminophen, antidotes acetylcysteine, iron, antidotes deferoxamine, beta blockers, antidotes gluconate. A 15-year-old girl diagnosed with diabetes mellitus and she told the nurse she couldn't give her self-injection. What is the nurse intervention? A. Refer to home care. B. Teach her how to inject herself. C. Instruct her to come to the hospital. The answer is B. Teach her how to inject herself. A 17-year-old girl came to the emergency room complaining of pain in the upper right part of the stomach. Which of the following is confirmed for appendicitis? A. Rebound tenderness. B. Pain in the left side. C. Constipation. The answer is A. Rebound tenderness. Guarding, rebound tenderness, and rigidity are additional clinical signs to assess for appendicitis. Both tenderness and rebound tenderness may be elicited by palpation in a different quadrant. Thus, palpation of the left lower quadrant may produce tenderness and rebound tenderness in the right lower quadrant in appendicitis or Rovsing sign. This is called referred tenderness and referred rebound. Which food causes excessive gases? A. Asparagus and broccoli. B. Fried chicken and boiled egg. The answer is B. Fried chicken and boiled egg. In the year 1930, children had developed immunity against measles without being vaccinated, and as a result, the infection rate among children decreased. What is the type of immunity? A. Artificial. B. Passive. C. Herd. D. Innate. The answer is D. Innate. Innate immunity is the defense system with which you are born. It protects you against all antigens. Innate immunity involves barriers that keep harmful materials from entering your body. Innate immunity is the inborn resistance against infections that an individual possesses right from birth due to his genetic and constitutional markup. While herd immunity is a resistance to the spread of an infectious disease within a population that is based on pre-existing immunity of a high proportion of individuals as a result of previous infections or vaccinations. While passive immunity is the short-term immunity which results from the introductions of antibodies from another person or animal. While artificial immunity is a mean by which the body is given immunity to a disease by intentionally exposure to small quantities of it. Neonate to identify if has meconium aspiration. What's appropriate diagnostic test? A. X-ray. B. Ultrasound. C. Blood test. The answer is A. X-ray.